You didn't cry when it happened. You smiled, nodded, said, "It's fine," and then went home, sat in silence, and wondered why something so small left such a big mark. Someone interrupted you, dismissed you, talked over you in that meeting, or made that subtle comment that everyone laughed at, except you. You tell yourself, it wasn't a big deal. You tell yourself, I'm just being sensitive. You tell yourself, I need to toughen up. But something in you still hurts, not loudly, just enough to follow you into the next day, and the one after that. So you label it anger, frustration, oversensitivity. You try to fix it, meditate it away, rationalize it, outgrow it. But what if you've mislabeled the signal? What if this isn't a flaw in your character, but a voice from your unconscious, asking to be heard? Not to be judged, not to be silenced, just to be seen. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So what if that moment, the one you brushed off, wasn't just an overreaction? What if it was a breadcrumb on the trail back to yourself? You think you're upset about today, but your nervous system remembers things your mind forgot on purpose. That interruption reminded you of how your father never listened. That joke echoed the tone your teacher used when you first learned to go silent. You've spent years becoming resilient. You've learned to take a deep breath, let it go, be the bigger person. But here's what no one tells you. Some of what you've let go hasn't left. It sank somewhere deep, and now it lives in your body as tension, as anxiety, as the sudden urge to withdraw, even when things look fine. Carl Jung didn't ask you to be calmer. He asked you to be more honest. He didn't say, don't react. He asked, whose voice is reacting through you? Is it the child who wasn't chosen? The teenager who stopped speaking up? The version of you that decided quiet meant safety? Because when that version still lives unacknowledged, it doesn't stay quiet forever. It shows up in patterns, in relationships, in sabotage, in burnout. And the worst part, you call it personality. You say, I'm just like this. I always mess things up. I can't trust people. I hate conflict. But that's not you. That's the armor. And beneath it is someone real who got buried under years of trying to feel less. They don't want to ruin your life. They want to re-enter it. But here's the problem. You've gotten good at ignoring that voice. You call it weakness, drama, overthinking. You label every uncomfortable emotion as a malfunction instead of a message. So when sadness rises, you scroll. When anger flares, you apologize. When loneliness whispers, you laugh louder. You've built a life on top of a wound, and now you wonder why everything feels fragile. Carl Jung didn't want you to destroy the shadow. He wanted you to integrate it. Because what you suppress doesn't die. It waits. And over time, it learns to speak a different language. It speaks in overreactions, in shame spirals, in decisions you don't understand, but keep making anyway. You think you have a problem with control. What you really have is a part of you screaming to be noticed. And that part, the one you keep pushing down, isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to save you from a life that's technically functional, spiritually hollow, from becoming someone who is always composed but never fully alive, from dying in the comfort of emotional suppression. Because you weren't meant to live numb. You were meant to live whole, not clean, not perfect, but real. And wholeness begins the moment you stop saying, I shouldn't feel this, and start asking, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to show me? That's not a question we're taught to ask. We're taught to fix, to move on, to stay strong. But healing doesn't begin when you master your feelings. It begins when you let them speak. Jung believed that every emotion you disown becomes part of your shadow. And the shadow isn't evil, it's just unseen. It's the part of you that got exiled because it was inconvenient, too sensitive, too intense, too needy, too real. But exiling doesn't eliminate, it fragments. And the more fragmented you become, the more your life feels like a performance. You smile while something aches. You say yes when your whole body says no. You play nice, stay quiet, stay agreeable, because you learned early on that being liked felt safer than being known. But your unconscious never agreed to that contract. It kept all the things you tried to forget, not to punish you, but to protect the parts of you you weren't ready to hold. Now those parts are surfacing, not as breakdowns, but as invitations. That panic attack, not weakness, it's a signal. That numbness, not laziness, it's grief without a name. That anger, not toxicity, it's the fire you've denied for too long. Jung didn't want you to fix your shadow. He wanted you to meet it. Because integration doesn't make you flawless. It makes you honest. And honesty is where your freedom lives. Most people don't want freedom. They want familiarity. Even if it hurts, even if it keeps them stuck, even if it means living a life that looks good on the outside but feels hollow on the inside. Because freedom requires confrontation with your patterns, your stories, your masks. Freedom means saying, I no longer want to carry what's not mine, even if you don't know who you'll be without it. That's terrifying. And Jung understood this. He knew that people will choose the pain they know over the unknown parts of themselves they've never dared to meet. But here's the turning point. The shadow isn't waiting to destroy you. It's waiting to return you, to your instincts, to your lost truths, to the parts of you that still remember what it felt like to be fully alive before the world taught you to be careful. Integration is not about adding something new. It's about reclaiming what you buried. It's not becoming someone else. It's coming home to yourself. And that journey doesn't begin when everything feels calm and ready. It begins when you finally say, I'm tired of pretending this doesn't affect me. I'm tired of living half present. I'm ready to see what I've been running from. Not to fix it, not to conquer it, but to listen. Because everything you've been ignoring has been patiently waiting for you to turn around and finally say, I see you. And I'm not leaving this time. That's where healing begins. Not when you find the perfect mindset, but when you stop abandoning the parts of you that don't fit the narrative. The quiet rage, the silent grief, the forgotten dreams, the voice that said no but was never allowed to matter. Carl Jung didn't give people solutions. He gave them mirrors. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And maybe your fate was never written in the stars. Maybe it was shaped by the wounds you never looked at, the patterns you never questioned, the voices you never allowed to speak. But now you know. Now you've heard the echo, and you can't unhear it. So you have a choice. Keep numbing, keep explaining it away, keep smiling through things that are quietly stealing your aliveness. Or pause, turn inward, and ask, what am I not listening to? Because beneath the pain, beneath the anger, beneath the stories you've told yourself to survive, there's still a voice. It may be quiet, but it's persistent. And it's not here to hurt you. It's here to bring you back. Not to who you were told to be, but to who you've always been underneath it all. You don't have to run anymore. You just have to listen.